Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the session. Can you please tell me if I am audible? All right, great. Thank you. So, there is still some time to actually begin the meeting. So, let's wait for a while. In the meanwhile, you can tell me if you have registered a domain name on WordPress.com and if you faced any problem in that. Have you tried to register the domain?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Maria here.
Hi, Maria.
Hi. I tried earlier today. It was a bit scary because I'm a non-techie and a bit of a technophobe, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
But I think I managed, so I just registered, and that's it.
All right, that's great. So what matters is at the end of the day, you were able to register your domain. And, you know, when you are working on something new, it could seem to be a little challenging, but as you just stay committed to it, you will sail through. And if in case at all you feel stuck up somewhere, just write to me. You can message me or write to me in the forum and I will help you. Otherwise, I think these are just steps that you need to follow. And do not feel intimidated or because it is technical. I know that most of us most of the participants actually are not from a technical background. So that is why I keep myself available so that I can help you the maximum whenever you need, wherever you feel the need. Just let me know.
Thank you very much. I just followed the steps from the live session recording. So I did everything what you did in your PPT, and it went okay.
All right, that's great. Great to know.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now it's time and we will begin the session now. And so in this session, first of all, we will take a recap of what we did yesterday, because that was by and large what we are going to be covering during week 1. So we will take a recap of that. So this is basically about week 1. And in week 1, the task is setting up a domain on WordPress.com. This is the primary task to be accomplished by the end of the week. Now, coming to the concepts that we discussed yesterday, I will quickly go through them once again. And if you have any problem or any doubts, please, you can just ask me in the chat if you want to know something more about any of the aspects. Okay, so internet, the working of the internet, it works on client server architecture. Client is the machine sending the request, that is the end user. It sends the request to visit a specific web page of a website. Server is the machine that responds to the request. That is the machine where the website resides. IP address, that is the logical address on internet. So there are basically 2 types of address. One is the logical address, that is the IP address, also known as the virtual address. Second is the MAC address, that is the physical address. So as I said yesterday, every device that is connected to the internet owns a specific IP address. It is the combination of the IP address and the MAC address that forms a unique address for a device to be recognized on the network. And here we are only looking at the IP address. What is the MAC address? Just to give you a brief description of that. Every device has a physical address, that is the network card through which we connect to the internet. Every device would have it, whether it is a mobile phone, a tablet, laptop, a desktop, whatever device is getting connected to the internet, that would have a network interface card, NIC. And that card has its own address, which is not going into detail. It is specific to every manufacturer, and that manufacturer would have a specific MAC address for each and every card that is being produced. So when that specific device that is there within the machine, that the address of that device through which we are getting connected to the internet, along with the IP address, that is the logical address. This IP address is given to us by the ISP, that is the internet service provider, the organization through which we are receiving the internet connection at our end. So it is the combination of the device address and the logical address that forms a unique combination to address a specific machine connected on the internet. So when we have to figure out who is sending the request, the server has to respond to that specific client only. For example, if I talk about Google, so at the same time, there are millions of people who would be sending millions of requests at the same instance to access Google and various other pages on Google. So how does Google respond back to that specific user with their appropriate request? Is by recognizing that user through a combination of the IP address and the MAC address. Just like in the real world, when we have to visit somebody's house, how do we get to know that this is that specific person's house and I have to go only there, not to somebody else's house? Is by the address of that person's house. So same is here. There is a combination of two different addresses which forms a unique address to be recognized uniquely over the internet. But since we are not talking about the physical devices and the hardware part, so I only talked about the IP address. Client sends the request and the server responds to the request. What is a domain name? A domain name is the website name, the URL of the website, that is the Uniform Resource Locator. We read it from right to left. The rightmost part after the dot, the first dot, is going to be the TLD, that is top level domain. Next, towards the left of TLD is going to be the root domain, that is the main domain name of the website. And further on left to the root domain is going to be the subdomain. This is how we check whether a specific domain is a subdomain or it is the root domain. And when we talk about getting a free domain name, it would be a very rare chance, exceptional chance that you get a root domain for free. That could come as an offer or as a giveaway or something, but as a general rule of thumb, you will never get the root domain for free. So when we talk about getting a free domain name on WordPress.com, that is always going to be a subdomain under the root domain, the subdomain of WordPress.com. Hosting. For hosting a website, there are two things that are required. The first is the domain name, because that is how your website is going to be recognized. Second is the website hosting. What is website hosting? Hosting is basically you need some space on the server, the machine that we talked about, on which your website is going to reside. That is, the data of your website is going to be uploaded. Now, for example, you have a computer at your home through which you are connected. That computer has a hard disk, a RAM. You can use this very computer as a server also. I am just giving you an example. Do not try to use it because it requires a lot of software configuration for that, a lot of extra hardware for that, for security purposes as well. But just to explain the concept, I am telling you that any machine can be used as a server because it is only about storing the data of your website on that specific machine. So wherever your website data is going to reside, that is going to be the server. And website hosting means you are going to purchase that space on the server. There are hosting service providers where you get different plans which you will have to purchase for hosting your website. Basically, for that space that they will give you for that whatever plan you choose. When it comes to WordPress.com, your website is being hosted on WordPress.com server. So you are given space on the server of WordPress to host the content of your website. Now, under the free plan, you will get limited space. As you increase the plan, if ever you desire to in future, you will get more space. Along with the space, there are other aspects as well. It is the bandwidth, the availability of the server. The server has to work 24/7 because you never know what time your client or the user wants to visit the website. So it has to be available 24/7. So that machine should be available 24/7. The rate at which it works, the faster the processor of the machine. And there are various other aspects that you need to keep in mind when you opt for website hosting. Now, WordPress provides you with a very good server configuration, which is why it is so popular. Next is a self-hosted website. What is a self-hosted website is when you purchase a plan from an external hosting service provider. That is not WordPress.com. So there you will be purchasing a plan according to your requirement as to what kind of website do you want to host. What is the difference between WordPress.com or a self-hosted website? So hosting your website on the WordPress server or on a self-hosted server. On WordPress.com, you did not have to install WordPress software because just as you register the domain, you are forwarded to the backend of your website. That is the dashboard, the WordPress dashboard of your website. That means WordPress is already there. You do not have to worry about installing the software. On a self-hosted website, you will have to download and install the software. This is a little technical. On WordPress.com, you can have a free or a custom domain name. As we know, under the free plan, you can opt for a free domain name as well. But again, as I said, that is always going to be a subdomain under either WordPress or any other primary domain. So it is basically, it is not going to be a root domain as a free domain. Whereas in a self-hosted site, you will have to purchase a domain name, and that is obviously going to be the root domain, and you are going to be the owner of that domain. In WordPress.com also, you have an option to purchase a custom domain. So that is again going to be a paid domain name. You can opt to have your own domain and continue hosting your site on WordPress server. That is also an option. Next is, you do not have to pay for hosting the website on WordPress.com. This is for the free plan. On a self-hosted server, you will have to purchase. It is mandatory to purchase hosting for your website. Limitations on using a theme and plugin depending on the plan on WordPress.com. So as we are on the free plan, we will not have the flexibility to add plugins. That is available only under the paid plan. And there are only limited free themes that you can choose from for WordPress.com under the free plan. Whereas on a self-hosted website, there is no limitation because everything is owned by you. The hosting is owned by you, the domain name is owned by you. So there is basically the entire website is at a different level, and there is no limitation on using a free or a premium theme or plugin. Next, you get extra traffic via WordPress network on WordPress.com. This is a very big add-on because when you are getting started, you probably do not know SEO, that is search engine optimization, or search engine marketing, SEM. So in that case, when WordPress is offering you extra traffic, that is going to be very helpful. On a self-hosted website, you will have to promote your website to get extra traffic. Again, on WordPress.com, you have a network where you can connect with bloggers and search via tags. So there are tags using which you can find like-minded website owners and bloggers, and you can connect with them. On a self-hosted website, basically that is a standalone website. So you will not find any networking there, and you will have to have your own clients and own independent promotions will have to be done for your website. But on WordPress.com, you do not have control over monetization. What is monetization? You would have seen AdWords on websites. So when you run AdWords on your website, the website owner gets some monies for placing the advertisements. That is monetization through AdWords. Under the free plan, you will not have control over it. WordPress is going to place those AdWords on your site because basically, if you are not paying anything to WordPress for hosting your website under the free plan, then somehow WordPress is going to earn some money, that is by monetizing on your website. Whereas on a self-hosted site, you have absolute control over monetization, and via adverts and their placement, it entirely depends on you whether you want to monetize it or not, and where all do you want to place the advertisements. So these are the differences between hosting a site on WordPress.com and hosting a site on a self-hosted server. Why is this relevant? Is because tomorrow, after you, as a beginner, it is always advisable to start off with a free plan. Gradually, you can upgrade to a paid plan, or you can move to a self-hosted website. So this is a kind of step-by-step process. So tomorrow, if you feel comfortable running your website and you feel the need to increase the space available, you want to upload more content, then you can move on to a self-hosted server. So IP address versus the domain name. As there is a discussion post forum also on this topic, what if we had to remember the IP addresses? So domain name, of course, is easy to remember. It is user friendly. It gives you an idea of what the website is about, which IP address would fail to do. No matter how good your memory is, no matter if you use a search engine for searching the IP addresses, there are various possibilities of accessing. There are various possibilities of accessing the website through IP address also, but it will not be user friendly. It will not have the meaning of the website. It will not give the idea what the website is all about. So whenever you choose a domain name, always make sure that it is user friendly and the user gets an idea. Even if there is a layman who is wanting to visit your website, probably your website appears in the search result. Why should somebody click on your website? The first thing that anybody would look at is the domain name. How relevant is it to what content is the person searching for? How relevant is it to what your website is all about? So that is why it is important to keep a unique, user-friendly, and relevant name for your website. Next are the protocols. So we have HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTPS, that is HTTP with security, that is the SSL certificate, FTP, File Transfer Protocol, UDP, User Data Protocol. These are the primary protocols that are followed for transfer of data over the internet. There are other protocols as well, but these are the primary ones. And Hypertext Transfer Protocol with security, that is HTTPS, is what is important and relevant to you right now, because when we look at hosting a website, we always have to make sure that it has the secure certificate enabled, because it is not only the website that conducts financial transactions that needs to have HTTPS. Any website that stores your email address, your password, should have an HTTPS. Why? Because that is your personally identifiable information, PII. So this PII has to be secure. Your name, your other details, probably your address, your country, state, wherever you live. So a lot of data we give to the website at the time of registration. So every website where we are giving our own data needs to have an HTTPS on it. And thus, as website owners, we have to keep that in check. So HTTPS is for security, security of the user data, your website, and the data on your website. When your users are going to visit your website, the transfer of data that takes place from your website to the user. So that channel has to be secure. You can read more about it at the address, and that will help you understand further. I will share this address in the forum for HTTPS. So the common misconception is that it is only useful for websites doing financial transactions, or it is actually meant for all the websites wherever we save the personal information. So when we talk about the free plan on WordPress.com, we cannot do business over it. A WordPress website under the free plan is only meant for hosting the data, that too in the limited space that is provided to us. So you can host your content, share your content with your prospective learners, because doing business, that is e-commerce, requires plugins, and plugins are available only under the paid plan. So you will not be essentially able to sell courses, but there is always a workaround. And when you want to accept payments, you can properly accept payment through PayPal accounts or other channels without integrating that on your website. If you want to integrate that on the website, you will have to add a plugin, and for that you will have to upgrade to a paid plan. So you can upload the content. There is limited space on the server, and WordPress can run AdWords. You do not have control over it. So monetization under the free plan is entirely up to WordPress. You do not have control over that. So the task for the week is to set up the domain on WordPress.com. And once you have done this, there is ample time during the week. So whenever you get time, I would advise you to start writing down, just jot down the kind of content that you want to write on your website, which will help ease out your task for the next week. So you can write it down on a on a notepad, on a Word document, Google Docs, wherever you feel comfortable. At your end, just write down the content, jot it down, probably the About Us page on your website, what you want to write under the About Us page. On the courses page, if you want to specify any specific courses, just start writing down the content for your website. And if you want to write some blog posts or something, so whatever you feel you want to add to the website, so whenever you get time during the week, just start writing that down. Also, it is mandatory to check out the resources on SlideShare so that you complete those tick marks on the website. And in the discussion forum, please add a new discussion topic under your name and also respond to other person. So one is that you have to write your original post under the new discussion topic in each forum. Second is also you will have to reply to at least one other person, because this is a collaborative learning. We want to discuss about the other person's perspective. Also, we want to discuss about various things. It's not just about confining yourself to your own viewpoint. We are here to learn together from each other. So that is why it is important that you respond to the other persons as well. And if there are any questions, please let me know. Okay. It is impossible to stay in free plan on WordPress.com forever. No, it is not impossible to stay on WordPress.com forever on free plan. You can continue with the free plan, but it is just that you will have to stay confined within the limited space that is provided to you, with limited bandwidth and the limited user strength that is allowed under the free plan. So there are various conditions that you will have to check out under the free plan. So till the time you are within the confines of it, it is absolutely fine. But as your audience grows or as the need grows, you will have to increase or probably upgrade to a paid plan. How to respond to discussion? Okay, I will just share it. So here it is. This is the discussion forum. This is the course, and here under the introduction and syllabus, you will have to go into the introduction forum. And you will have to add a new discussion topic. So when you click on add a new discussion topic, here you will have to write this subject or the title for the post and the message, that is whatever you want to write. And then straight go to post to forum. That's about it. So write the title, the message, and post to forum. This is how you are going to post in every forum. This is one that you are writing under your own name. The other thing is that you have to reply to someone else. So suppose I want to reply to Sophia. Here is her introduction, and I will go and click on reply. When you click on reply, the same editor appears, and in this text editor, you can add your message and just write the message and click on post to forum as a reply. So these are the two things that you need to do. And is it, you're welcome, Carol. So you can just click on the reply button and post the replies. So is it possible to upload audio files MP3 on WordPress.com? Although it will, as I said, it depends. You can upload, but that is going to consume the server space that is allotted for your website. So since you have a limited server space, why do you want to waste it in heavy files, that is in video or audio files? A better option would be to upload your podcasts onto a podcast specific site. For example, Podcastomatic or Podomatic, and there are others as well. I will let you know, which are pretty good, and there you can upload it for free, and then you can just share the link on your website. That would be more appropriate. So that is what, when you're working on your website, do not overload it by the data on your own website. When you upload, whenever you share content with your learners, upload your videos on properly YouTube, Facebook, and share that link. When you upload images, you can upload it on Instagram and share the link. When you upload a podcast, upload it on a podcasting website and share the link. So this is going to be more appropriate and more organized, and this will not make you run out of space, out of the server space. And yeah, so that will help you stay in the free plan for a longer time with more content to be shared. Okay, so any other questions? You're welcome. If you want, you can unmute yourself and talk if you feel like. John, I see that you have access to the audio, so you've been able to hear me out. That is nice. If you want to talk, you can just unmute the mic and talk and ask or speak whatever if you feel like. Is there a snippet feature in Moodle? I'm sorry, I didn't get this. Carol?
Hi. Hi, Harshita?
Yeah, hi. I can hear you. Hi.
Okay.
Welcome. Yeah, tell me.
Can you, yeah. So I wanted to take a little snip of a picture and drop it in Moodle and send it to you in Moodle.
Okay, so yes, of course. When you go to the discussion forum, right? And if there is something related to support, or if there is something related to the introduction, wherever you want to post it, just write the message, and under the message, the editor for the message, you will see attachment. Drag and drop your file. So there you can drop the whatever image snippet that you have, that you can drop in there and upload it to the site and share.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So anybody else, like any other question? Any other doubt? Anything else you want to know? I see there are no more questions now. So, all right. So I think this is pretty much there for this week. To register a domain name on WordPress.com and continue writing the content for your website till then, or till next week. And in next week, we are going to add the content, and we are also going to look into the website security features like cookies and privacy policy, GDPR, all those things that we need to keep in mind. So next week is all about content. So that's about this session. And thank you very much for joining in. If you have any problems, just let me know in the support forum. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.